You're listening to the 5-Minute Friday podcast episode of The Aligned Self. This is your host, Daniel J-N-O-V. Okay, 5-Minute Friday, a short and concise podcast episode of The Aligned Self, designed to leave you with a question, an idea, a strategy, a tip, a hack, in order to give you greater access to your conscious awareness, evolving your conscious awareness, or give you greater mastery over your mind. All right, so today we're going to talk about a concept that if you get it, if you incorporate it into your psyche and make it a part of your constitution, it will completely change your life. Totally change your life. And that concept is declaring yourself unstoppable. You see, you have to declare yourself unstoppable. Somebody else can't do it. Your parents can't do it. Your friends can't do it. Your loved ones, they can't say, oh, you're unstoppable. No matter how many times you get knocked down, no matter how many times you suffer crushing defeat, you are the one that decides that you will get your butt back up and into the game. Being unstoppable is getting up one more time than you've been knocked down. And I don't care how many times you've been knocked down. And while life is not meant to be a struggle, it is inevitable that at some point in your life, you will meet defeat. You will meet disappointment. You will not have things work out the way you want. And you'll have a decision to make right then. Do you quit? Do you pick up your toys and go home? Do you fold up your tent and call it a weekend? No. You'll pick yourself up and you'll take a step forward and keep moving until you get back into the flow. In Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, one of the 13 principles that he writes about, the 13 principles of success and achievement, one of them is persistence, the ability to carry on, to push forward, to move through when everything is telling you to quit. For example, those men and a couple women that have gone through the Navy SEALs program, the elite fighting force, and made it through Hell Week, where the circumstances are such that it's intended that they break you, they make you quit. The people that make it through it, the men that make it through it, are the ones that have decided, typically ahead of time, that no matter what happens, they are not ringing that bell. They will not and cannot ring that bell, signaling that they quit. When faced with an obstacle, they will improvise, adapt, and overcome. They will not quit. Now, you've probably heard me talk about how I've been a coach for 30 years. It hasn't always been a fruitful 30 years. I haven't always made money, and I've had to supplement my income through construction, and I'm a pretty handy with a hammer and saw. I've gutted and remodeled 5 kitchens, 3 bathrooms, an entire living space, all while being a coach. And while my mother and some other people have said, maybe you want to rethink this, it never occurred to me to quit. Never, ever. I was always going to find a way to make it work. And today I have. Now, along the way, one of the workshops that I created was Unleashed and Unstoppable. I figured if I really need to embody something, I need to teach it. And it was what I was going through at the time. When you really want to own an idea, I recommend that you teach it. You think about it. You ruminate over it. You talk to other people about it. What are they coming up against? And I learned through doing that being unstoppable is like building a muscle. There are opportunities to quit on a project, quit at work, quit on the lawn, or whatever it is. You have multiple opportunities a day to give in, to give up. And those are the ones I seize. And I tell myself, I am unstoppable. And sometimes I work just for 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, but I don't quit when the urging is there. I push past it and I move through it. We respect people that won't give up. I will not give up on my clients. They give up a lot of times on themselves, but I'm not. I step in and I declare myself a champion for my clients. Let's say that you are going in for surgery. Do you want your surgeon, do you want your doctor, when they get tired, to pack it in and say, well, I did all I can do today? sew them up, we'll see what happens tomorrow. No, they'll go 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, sometimes a 6-hour surgery, something that was planned to be 2 hours. Now, I don't know about you, but I want my surgeon to be unstoppable. So again, it's practicing being unstoppable, declaring yourself unstoppable on all those multiple little opportunities to give in, to quit. The other thing is to have representations, references, images in your mind of what does it mean to be unstoppable? What does being unstoppable look like, feel like, sound like, smell like, taste like? You know, you want to have a palpable representation in your mind. Do you have images and references and stories on being unstoppable, pushing through, moving forward? Now, I know I'm going to date myself here, and I'm going to reference a couple movies from the 70s and the 80s. But in 1976, there was this movie that came out that I went to the theater to watch. And I thought it was really slow in the beginning, and the movie was Rocky. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Rocky and Sylvester Stallone, in the 14th round, when he's fighting Apollo Creed, and Apollo Creed has beaten him up and has given him his best and knocked him to the canvas, Rocky's coach is standing in the corner, motioning and telling him, stay down, like quit. But like Rocky doesn't hear him. And he crawls to the corner and pulls himself up on the ropes and then turns around and motions to Apollo Creed, come on, I'm not done. And the look on Apollo Creed's face is priceless in this movie. It's like, are you serious? I just knocked him down. I thought I was done. This is over. And by the end of the movie, you think maybe Rocky could have won because he went the distance. He made it all the way to the end. So that image is in my mind. It's a representation for me on what it means to be unstoppable. You may want to find your own. By all means, find your own. You may not be into Rocky movies or boxing movies. Another reference I have is a movie from 1984 with, what's this guy's name? Schwarzenegger. And the movie was Terminator. And again, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the Terminator, it's about how the machines take over the world. There's a man named John Connor that takes down the whole Skynet in the future. And the machines decide to send a cyborg back in time and kill John Connor before he's even born by killing his mother, Sarah Connor. So in this particular scene, the Terminator is being described on how he is unstoppable, how this Terminator, this robot, is unstoppable. So I'm going to play a clip just so you get the flavor of it.
Just let me go. Listen and understand that Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Ooh. It will not stop. That rings in my head and for me is the epitome of being unstoppable. But that's me. I encourage you to find your own references, your own metaphors for what it means to be unstoppable. What are your examples? Who are your idols? Who represents to you? What represents to you what it means to be unstoppable? So that wraps up our 5-Minute Friday. And if you haven't yet joined our Facebook group, by all means, join our Facebook group, the Aligned Self Podcast Listeners Facebook group, and the link is in the show notes. When you're asked about how you heard about the Facebook group, say the podcast, that's the truth, on the podcast, and then I'll admit you. No problem. Now, inside the Facebook group, there'll be this post for the 5-Minute Friday, being unstoppable. I would like you to put underneath there what metaphors, what examples, what idols represent to you being unstoppable, because I want all the references I can get for myself. I have my half a dozen, and I told you a couple, but I would love to have and steal some of yours. This is Daniel Denovi, suggesting you follow your bliss. By all means, follow your bliss. Not somebody else's bliss. Follow your bliss and live the epic life.